Hi, my name is Candra and I'm currently in grade 11 at Oak Bay. In English, we've been learning about the one and only William Shakespeare, and more specifically his play Macbeth. Today, in this presentation, I'll give you some information about his personal life as well as a passage from his play Macbeth, and I'll also discuss how this specific passage shows ambition, which plays a huge role as a main theme in Macbeth. William Shakespeare was baptized on April 26, 1564, born in Stratford, England. Usually, children are baptized a couple days after birth, so his birthday is probably April 23, 1564. He died on April 23, 1616, at age 52. He married Anne Hathaway. At the time, he was 18 and she was 26. This was a hasty affair. They did have 3 children, though. The first child was named Susanna, and 2 years later they had twins named Hamnet and Judith. In 1585, he left his family to move to London to start his theatrical lifestyle. He was known to have his plays performed at the Globe Theatre. The theatre was open air for its natural lighting, because back then they didn't have the artificial lighting like we have today. It had stories. The noble sat from above and watched down below. The women sat on chairs while the men stood. The poor sat on the ground at the front. The earthlings sat on cushions, while the groundlings did not. They sat there in the rain and in the sun whenever the play was happening. Coming to the play was a social event and was very entertaining for their time. It was like our TV shows or YouTube. Outside the theater hung flags, all representing a different meaning. Black was tragedy, white was comedy, and red was politics. And there was always that one flag that hung. It was a picture of Atlas holding the globe as well as Aladdin saying, "All the world is a playhouse." Whenever one of these flags appeared, it showed its fellow citizens the type of play that was going to be performed. Shakespeare wrote 38 plays to be exact and 154 sonnets, as well as many, many poems. Ambition is the main theme in the play of Macbeth. It shows how ambition can be used in a positive way as well as twisted in a dark way. I focus on Lady Macbeth's ambition. At the beginning, Lady Macbeth is portrayed as an ambitious woman as well as a wife. She uses her power of manipulation and pressure to coerce Macbeth to commit King Duncan's murder. Her words to describe her ambition and drive to kill King Duncan is extremely rich in Act 1, Scene 7. Here she uses dark and evil words to describe to Macbeth that she is not turning back on her idea to kill King Duncan. In lines 49 and 51, she says, "When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, be so much more of the man." At this point, she's saying that Macbeth is not manly enough because he does not want to kill Duncan. And from there, she points out a very gruesome image about how ambitious she is and how far she will go. And when I say gruesome, I'm talking about babies getting smashed to death. Yes, that's right. She says, "I've given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it has smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums, and dashed the brins out, and have sworn you have done this." Those were lines 54 to 58. She continues to make Macbeth reconsider his decision and constantly uses demeaning language to manipulate him. When she asks the big question if we should fail, she says, "We fail?" as if it is no option. This is extremely valid to the theme ambition. She is so determined at this point she continues to say, "But screw your courage into the sticking place and will not fail. And when Duncan is asleep, whereto rather shall his day's hard journey, will I whine and will sail so convinced, that memory the warder of the brain shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason. Their drenched natures lie, as in death. What cannot you and I perform upon? The unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of his great quell?" She plans out the whole thing and says that the people will be drinking, and it'll be seen as the guard's fault, who'll be drunk and passed out, and they can bear the guilt, while her and Macbeth potentially get away with it. At the end of the passage, Macbeth leaves the scene saying that he is settled. Before, he was uncommitted, and the division of the good and the evil was forming in his mind. Later in the play, the reader sees what has become of his conscience and his ambition. Lady Macbeth used her words of cruelty and evilness to dictate and persuade Macbeth to King Duncan. And I believe that this passage has clearly indicated to the reader that Lady Macbeth is ambitious in her own way. The play Macbeth clearly shows how ambition can be a negative quality.